I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta. Ongina is here, but first, do you want to see me gored off? Because I think you want to see me gored off. Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be very Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite fascinating people to sit on the couch and get very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who loves the style and versatility of Nine West career footwear and accessories. Nine West, lead the way and never stop dreaming. But first, let's get into some things that are very Delta.
Go off, Delta!
Okay, it's Cyber Monday. We just got past Black Friday. Where are the deals? I feel like once upon a time, Black Friday was like the coolest thing. People would go camp out. They would bring their lawn chairs. They would wait outside a Target for the brand new Gollum doll or whatever the hell people wanted. Everybody was going to get a deal on a television. People were going to get, I don't know, whatever those blockbuster, doorbuster specials. You know, Walmart would put saran wrap or whatever around certain things and they would say, this is not available until Black Friday. And it would be like, I don't know, slippers or something for $2 cheaper. I just feel like I don't see these deals. Like, here's the thing. Cyber Monday is obviously, like, I get into Cyber Monday just because I do a lot of online shopping. So I feel like I get a better deal on a Cyber Monday. I'm not buying a TV. I want, like, I don't know, 40% off on a dress. That's what I want. I want cell phone cases. Like, I want shit like that. I was never the person who lined up for stuff, but I have to think about the fact that, like, I don't have kids. So maybe if it was like toys or something that I needed to get for them and that was the only time I could get it. But listen, everybody has been doing these Black Friday sales forever and they call them pre-Black Friday sales. You know what they need to put on sale? Fucking groceries. Put groceries on a Black Friday sale. Everything is so expensive. You know what really needs to go on a Black Friday sale? A combo at McDonald's. A combo at Wendy's. Why are we paying $15, almost $20 for a combo at these places? Like, I know why. Obviously, these companies don't want to pay their employees the right rate. And so they have to like start charging everybody more for food because they're not going to hit in their profits. So they're going to make us pay more. And they know that we're going to pay for it anyway. And they know that they're going to work these poor people into the ground. And these people are working so hard and they're not being compensated fairly. That's why they, start encouraging like this tipping culture and everything is more expensive because they think, well, shit, make these consumers pay for it. So we don't have to pay for these living wages for these people. So it's now our job to pay for it, even though is the stuff that expensive now? I don't know that everything has gone up that much in price. Like not that quickly gone up that much in price. Why are we allowing this? I don't understand like why Black Friday is not happening at Wiener Schnitzel. I want a deal. I don't want to have to pay like Black Friday is supposed to be for an actual deal. Like, I don't want $5 off. I want something to be $4,000 and then it's on sale for $1,500. That's the Black Friday sale I want. I want to go in somewhere and have them say, like, whatever happened to buy one, get one free? Like, how about some of that? How about, what would be a good Black Friday deal that I need? How about a bottle of perfume with a gift with purchase? Remember we talked about that a long time ago? I'm still on it. I still want that Black Friday deal of like a gift, an incentive, not just something stupid, something that people are going to use, an actual value where somebody says, you know what, it was worth waiting in line. That I've been a customer of the store for a long, long time, and they did me right. See, that doesn't happen anymore. There's no more like brand loyalty or store loyalty where people are saying, you know what? It's been a hard year. As a company, we're going to do X, Y, and Z for the people that come here. On Black Friday, this is what we're going to do. Because we know how much you have invested in our company to make us great. We are going to say, this is an extra wonderful special. Don't sell $15 slippers that cost you 22 cents to make and then tell somebody, guess what? Instead of $15, those are going to be $13.99. And that's what we should be waiting in line for? That is not a deal. How about the fast food restaurants say, bring in a receipt that you bought something for fucking Black Friday and we will give you $5 off your $15 combo. That sounds like a Black Friday special to me. Give me I want a Black Friday lunch. I want a Black Friday iced tea with an iced teaspoon in it. How about that? How about for Black Friday, you say, come into our restaurant, and for Black Friday, we're going to give you an iced teaspoon to stir your drink with, like a proper country, like a classy place. Where's that? Where's that Black Friday special? I want to see I don't want to see just something that sounds like a doorbuster deal. I want to walk away feeling like, you know what? I'm glad my money went to that company. I'm glad I was treated correctly. I'm glad I was greeted at the door. I get it. You know, this is another little a thing that's been cooking in my brain for a while. You know, I get up here and I talk extemporaneously about shit. I wish people would be a little more grateful for the shit that I don't say. I wish people would be happy for the things that I hold in. And there's something I've been holding in for a while, and it's something I think about, and it's probably not going to go over well. And guess what? Fuck off. Oh, well, you don't like it. What's going to happen tomorrow? Remember, my rent's going to be the same price. My house payment's going to be the same price. My bills are going to be the same price. This is my problem. I know employees are not being treated well by stores. I get it. I get that Black Friday's horrific. I worked in retail. It was a different time. It was a different place. There was when there was brand loyalty. However, I worked very, very hard during holiday seasons and back to school and white linen sale, all of it. You know, I did it all. And I'm sure when I first started, I made minimum wage at the job. You know what I mean? And then I got raises and raises and raises here and there. Maybe people are not getting raises now. Maybe they're not hitting that quality of living. But why is it my job as the customer to have to allow employees to treat me shitty because they hate their job? I'm confused as to why. I don't work for the company. I'm just coming in here buying something, and people are like, oh God, like looking like I'm like so horrific for coming into the store. And you know what I do? I hold the space for people to have bad days. I hold the space for people to not be paid fairly, but it's not my fucking job to go everywhere and go, you know what? I should just hold my head down in shame for shopping in here. I'm sorry you have a job. I'm sorry I expected you to greet me. I'm sorry that I was at a store the other day and I saw the person say, why don't you open up on number 3? So the lady opened up on number 3, but she didn't turn the light on. And this is what I thought to myself as a former employee of a store and also as a consumer. Maybe they're just lessening the blow of this line. So she's going to call over people that she thinks are the people that need to come over next. Maybe it's not fully open because I don't see a light on. So I waited there and somebody nudged me from behind and they were like, she's open over there. Are you going to go? And I said, oh, I'm waiting for her to call me over. Because then when she was done with her transaction, she had to put things away and whatever. Maybe she wasn't ready for the next customer. She closes the thing and stands there and looks around. She looks at me. She goes, are you going to come over here or are you just going to stand there? And I immediately go, are you going to turn your light on to let people know that you are taking customers or are you just going to stand there? Because here's the thing. I'm sorry you have a shitty job. But guess what? I have a shitty job too. But I'm not going to treat you like shit. Take it up with your employers. But guess what? Right here and right now, you're serving me. So I need you, toot sweet, to get it together. Or else I'm going to have to teach you what your managers didn't teach you. And that is that you're being a shitty asshole. I'm sorry. Don't turn that iPad around asking for a fucking tip if you're going to be so goddamn unfriendly to me. And if you don't like it, oh well. Because it's not my job and it's not my place to go everywhere and hold so much space for everyone that treats customers like shit. I know the world is shitty, but I'm not being shitty to you. Okay? I'm sorry you don't like it. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Go back to school. Get a different job. Start a business. Suck a dick like T.S. Madison said. Do something, but stop being shitty to everybody and assuming that everyone's going to be shitty to you. I'm not. I get it all out right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where y'all get it out. Get it out somewhere, but I don't get it out in person with people because I don't think people deserve all that. I don't think they need for me to go crazy on them. But when they get smart with me, you watch your mouth when you're talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like that. I don't like going places and being told $2 off is going to be your Black Friday deal. $2 off is not a Black Friday deal. Give me a real deal. See that? I want to see some of this. Where are the deals? Book the deals. Give me the specials. Black Friday. Cyber Monday. Whole Food Wednesdays. Something. Do you want to see me take a break? Well, guess what? I'm going to take a break. Our guest today recently celebrated her husband's birthday with a 21-layer barbecue ranch chicken nacho plate. Please make welcome Ongina.
I love that.
Well, we're excited about it. I mean, first of all, nachos.
Nachos, yes.
But this is 21. What goes into 21 layers?
So basically, my husband and I have been finding meals on Instagram and TikTok to recreate at our house. And so he found this like 21-layer nachos, which is basically like nachos, cheese, chicken, ranch dressing, barbecue sauce, onions, jalapenos, chips again, barbecue sauce again, ranch again, chicken again.
Wow.
Until you hit like the 21st layer.
Yeah.
And the very last layer is just like 2 layers of like 2 different cheeses. And he was like, and for his birthday, you know, we just stayed home because it's Halloween and we dress up for a living. So why would I go out?
Right.
And I was like, oh, I have a surprise for you. So I made him that 21-layer chicken barbecue ranch nachos, and it was actually delicious.
Yeah, so basically every chip is covered with something.
Yeah. So you do a chip, and then you layer, and then you do a chip, and then you layer a chip, you layer, and then you have cholesterol.
Do you normally eat nachos like at restaurants and stuff like that? Or
My husband loves nachos.
That's his thing.
Yeah, that's his thing. Nachos, steak. Ground beef is a lot of the staple that we use for like protein when I cook at home. But yeah, me, I can eat anything. He's a little bit more picky when it comes to what he can digest or want to digest. But nachos is definitely top 3 always.
Top 3. Have you made air fryer boiled eggs yet?
No, not yet. But
my mom has been doing it and she's obsessed with it and they come out perfectly. My mom has always made boiled eggs perfectly. They're never gray, ever. She's always been able to time it. The same way with rice. She always does that knuckle method.
You know, I'm...
you were like a connoisseur. Well, you've always said like you could just eat like just white rice as a meal.
As a meal, I could. Yeah. I actually eat rice or used to 3 times a day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. But now
Uh-huh.
I sort of like change it up because I'm pre-diabetic, and, and I think the reason why is because I consume so much rice. Honestly,
Right.
Yeah.
Why do all of us ethnic people like so predisposed to everything? There's rice, there's beans, there's noodles, there's something like for all of us.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, it's a staple in Filipino food. It's kind of like the side dish that ties in all the flavor
Sure.
and like minimizes all of like the flavor that's in each entree.
Mhm.
But eventually, it catches up to you.
And the pre-diabetes says, "Hi."
Hi is like crawling up, saying
Yeah.
hello. Seriously.
Where does hi come from?
You know, so I moved to Los Angeles in 2007,
Mhm.
but even before that in New York City, like we would say hi to each other in such a long, high-pitched manner.
Uh-huh.
And then when I moved here, I actually heard other people say it, including Alaska.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was just like a form of like excited greeting, exaggerated, that just happened. Not over time, but like it just happened, and then it
Uh-huh.
became like a thing. So I would be like, "Hi," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, and I don't know, I don't actually like do it now, but like growing up into the scene, I'm always like, "Hi,"
Yeah.
and then there's other ones too, but you know, things that we can't repeat.
But there are variations of it because I find myself a lot of times when someone will like send a meme or something that's like super accurate, I'll type back like bye.
Bye.
Right? And
Yeah.
there's ways that you say it because you can be like, you can laugh bye or you could be like bye.
Bye.
Like I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
There's just
And-
variations.
No, there are variations because we do this too when we're like together and we
Uh-huh.
talk about like shady shit and we're
Yeah.
just like, bye.
Completely. Completely.
Oh my God.
I don't know why we dragged that out. I mean, I guess, like you said,
Because we're gays?
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I saw this meme where the guy was saying that he was walking by a poster and it said, "It's giving season." Like it's giving. Have you seen this?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
He
But
said he read it and it was talking about Thanksgiving. He's like, "But I'm so gay. I read it as it's giving season."
oh, like it's giving.
It's giving season.
Yes.
And he's like, and then I had to think, and I was like, "No, girl.
No, it's
the season of giving." He goes like, he just looks
Thanksgiving.
at the camera. He's like, "I'm so gay."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
so-
probably where bye and hi comes from.
Uh huh.
I think it's like we're so expressive.
Mm-hmm.
We just extend
Yeah.
like the smallest thing and make it like grandiose. Is that
Yeah.
the word, grandiose?
I think I like that word.
Is that an actual word?
Well, you could say grandiose, but I like
Ah,
grandiose.
Grandiose.
Grandiose is better. What was I talking about earlier? Jane Mansfield,
Yeah.
the actress.
Not the drag queen.
That's James.
Oh, that's
Mansfield,
right.
Who used the word divoon?
Divoon.
That's divoon.
Is it supposed to be like divine?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not an authority. James probably would know this.
Ah.
So I should
okay.
ask James. She
Yeah, we
probably
should.
would know that.
Should we call her?
We could.
No.
We should phone a friend.
We should phone a friend.
Do you do you like talking on the phone or texting?
There are certain situations where I'd rather speak on the phone
Uh-huh.
than texting.
Right.
And sometimes texts can get translated in different ways.
Yep.
And so if it's like a serious personal conversation, I think that needs to be like
Yeah. I
one-on-one,
think you're
eye to eye, or on the phone. If it's professional and business, like I actually like somebody was asking to book me
Uh-huh.
and they were like asking me, you know, what's your availability? And I was like, these are the dates that I'm traveling. And they're like, well, what's your rate? And I was like, well, I don't feel comfortable speaking about that because that's exactly why I have an agency
Right.
and a management so that they can negotiate the terms based off of your asks.
Right.
But there's a general rate, but I don't like talking about money
Mm-hmm.
when I don't have to because it's just easier for somebody to transact it for me.
Right.
And then I just show up all pretty and ready to
No,
go.
I agree with that 100%.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like when somebody asks what's the rate, it's kind of like, well, what's the ask? Because
Mhm.
you might say, well, we only want you to come in and do one number, and then we want you to host for 3 hours and announce this, and this. And it's like, well, that's a little bit different than two
Yeah.
numbers and then hit it.
Yeah.
So it could be anything. Maybe they want, because I know you've done charity events, and I think people don't also realize that there's even though there's a charity event and you are lending your name and your time, there is an honorarium that needs to be involved because there are fees that go into making that presence happen.
Yes.
Right? And it may not be exactly the rate, but it differs the costs.
But I also think that the honorarium pays for my work.
Yes.
And even if it's less than what a club gig might offer or more than what a club gig might offer, like Ongina in itself is work.
Right.
And I love giving my time. I have put in my time. I have given my time. But when I know that the asks is a little bit more extensive and or there's sponsorship or there's ways to compensate for me being there, I think it's fair to say that I'm there because I'm working. So then please compensate me for that work.
Absolutely. Especially just as you said that a lot of people don't hear is sponsors involved. These fees are already built in.
Yeah.
And it's there.
And you can negotiate within that budget. So, but I don't like doing that.
Right.
Because it's like, you know, like my agency would be like, there is this organization. They want you to just show up for like 30 minutes and leave. It's down the street from you. It's nonprofit. Like, would you give them your time? And I was like, yes, I'll give them my time. You know, it's just a conversation, but it's a conversation best left for my managers. Just tell me when, what time I'm getting picked up, and I will show up the way that you want me to, and I will deliver the ask. But I don't like to talk about all that stuff. That's why we have agencies.
See, I need to get on your level because I have, it's so hard when you have to negotiate that shit yourself.
Yeah.
I think what happens is people take you less serious.
Yeah, less serious. They take advantage of the fact that maybe, you know, I don't know what they're thinking, but maybe they'll take advantage of the fact of A B, C, D. And then I'm nice, so I'm be like, oh yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like, drag is now a huge business, and you know, when talking about businesses, you have to be smart about the decisions we're making and the conversations we're having. And I will do some deals on my own, but because I've learned all throughout the years how to manage some stuff.
Right.
But when I know that it's a larger conversation, then I'm like, ooh, like, you do it.
Well, but I think that's something that I've always admired about you, and maybe other people don't know that it is something that's extra admirable about you that a lot of people don't have. And that's the ability to not be afraid. You're not afraid to have these conversations with businesses. I've watched you. I mean, I've watched you over and over and over. And it's something that I don't always have in myself that I see in you. That's interesting because we always think of people in their physicality as we've been trained to believe that physicality says certain things. So if you're a large person, you must be robust and loud about it. And if you're a small person, you must be demure about things. And people don't realize, like, the two of us next to one another, you are a far better business person because you're not afraid.
No.
And I don't know if that's just the way you were raised or things that you saw or just who you are, but you'll get a deal going out of anything.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I'm able to have these business conversations because I think, one, I grew up as an adult in New York City. I moved there when I was 19, and I had to figure out life fast.
Right.
And I had to make decisions to survive, right? And then I became a visual manager, and then I moved up the corporate ladder where I became a multi-store senior regional manager overseeing like multiple people, multiple stores, multiple areas. So I think that it comes from both of those. And then so when I moved to LA, one of the reasons why I moved here is because I wanted like a less wild life, because my life in New York was so wild that I needed like time to breathe. And then I think I brought what I learned from living in New York City to here and sort of just like maybe translated it to like how LA people sort of like navigate the world, because a little less aggressive than New York, I feel like. But you still have to be smart. You have to still be like, you still have to like make sure that they're taking you seriously.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, drag can be like fun, ha ha ha, but it's not a joke.
Right.
It's a huge job. So I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of joke, what the fuck? We went right into like serious business, but this pumpkin on your head.
I mean, I knew you were coming, and this is the last episode of the sort of fall season.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And you know how much I love pumpkins, which, by the way,
you do.
Do you have a favorite gourd on the table?
I do. I actually really love that big blue one.
This one?
That's massive and gorgeous. It's amazing.
This was originally gray, and then Davey was like, it needs to be blue.
Yeah, no, I
needs to
love
be
it.
blue.
And the way that it's so bright on the monitor is like gorgeous.
Yeah, it really
But
cool.
so
But why not put one on your head? I wanted the whole set on my head. You were going to be here. You're known for fascinators.
Yes. So actually,
Which this is not that fascinating. It could be more grand.
No. But it's good because it definitely falls into the spirit of going into the end of like fall season into the holidays.
Yeah.
Because we're about to do holidays, and I know you love the holidays.
Yeah.
So, but lately I have been like just doing bald or wearing wigs.
You wear a lot of wigs, and you have good wigs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have good polyester blends, but they work for me.
Oh,
and I'm happy.
100%. Because you wear them in amazing styles too. So I feel like styling up a wig, it's crazy to want to do it in human hair. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Human is for like flowing and
Yeah.
like all of that. But you do like, I've seen you with like victory rolls. You've worked with drag wigs on a dime.
Yes. And I recently have been working a lot with Jo Lopez. Love her.
Jo's amazing.
And she makes me most of the wigs I've been wearing currently, but I just sort of stopped wearing fascinators because one, I got lazy from making them. I know that sounds really bad, but like sometimes you just get in the habit and then you stop the habit, right? And then two, I've been really loving looking at myself bald.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I love such like big costumes is because it makes up for the fact that like maybe I don't have anything going here, but at least you're getting like a really amazing outfit from it.
You keep looking at yourself.
I know, because I look fucking amazing.
You do. Let's take a break. I live.
That's funny.
You sit up with your mouth.
Sit up your
Shut
what?
your mouth. We are back with Ongina. We are cackling about ridiculousness. The pumpkin is ridiculous.
Yes. How are you actually putting that on your head? Like, how is that on?
I've watched you for years, and I watched Eddie DeBar for years.
Oh, yeah.
Different techniques, right?
Yeah.
This is just a top stick. This is a clean your scalp with some rubbing alcohol. But, I don't know if you do this. My trick with alcohol wipes is to pour some more alcohol in them and shake it up because sometimes they're too dry.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to like get rid of something,
Right.
it might need a little bit more moisture.
Right. So even though, like, obviously before I came, I showered, I put makeup on. I didn't have makeup on my head. I didn't intend to do this originally. I had a wig. And then I was like, no, we need to do this.
I really appreciate
We
that
were
you did
chit-chatting.
that.
We were like, how fun is this? If you're going to do it,
You're gonna
you
do
need to do
it.
it when the queen of fascinators is here.
Ah.
And this is not the most fascinating, but it is
It's
the
fab.
lightest one.
It's fab.
The
And
lightest
light is important, especially
Right.
because the way that I put them on my head, like basically I will make up my entire head.
Yeah.
And wherever I put the headpiece, I will make up that part a little bit thicker.
Uh-huh.
And then I actually use super glue
Yes, you do.
to adhere it. And that is what I learned from Miss Nina Flowers.
Uh-huh.
And she showed me that in season 1 back in 2009. And she is the reason why part of my hair
Uh-huh.
line is gone. Because when you rip the super glue out, Nina, it's the fault. When you rip it out, like you can see all the hair follicles.
Yeah.
I'm like, so anyway, it's not even really a big deal because I do really love me being bald anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
like I'm going to grow out my hair anytime soon.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to, I could just source out some wigs from you,
Yeah,
like
we can- there's wigs everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
The
It's
wig
fine.
game is so different now than it once upon a time, right? I mean,
Right?
even just the last 10 years.
Oh my God. The last 5 years,
Yeah.
15 years ago, I say we like I really wore them. But yeah, I wore some, but it was like crusty head fronts.
Uh-huh.
What are they called?
Like a hard front
Hard,
wig.
yeah. Like a hard front. And then now, if it's not lace or human, it doesn't count? That's what the kids are saying, but I don't believe.
When we were on season 3, I've said this before, like Manila was the first person we saw with a lace front, and we were like we were like looking at it like, what is it? Where does it come from? How could you? Is that real? And we watched her put it on, and of course, at that time, it was like we had never seen anything, so it was amazing to us, and I'm sure it was probably fully crunchy, and like she probably had not cleaned the lace. No shit, I'm not talking shit. She cleans it now. I don't know. People always talk about us from season 1 of All Stars when we were van drivers.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
I had such a good time doing that. And first of all, I was happy to do it with you. And second, I'm so glad we didn't have to do it in drag.
Right.
Can you imagine driving a van in like drag?
No.
But what was your experience like driving that van?
Earlier, I was talking about how like people look at certain statures and they're like, oh, this person is robust because they're big, and this person's diminutive because they're smaller. People assumed like, oh, this big old bitch is going to jump in this van and take off. I got stuck. I was in the van and fully got stuck in a one-way street.
Yeah.
Ongina was blowing through.
Yeah.
Driving everywhere, not a problem, was waving at me like, hi, bitch.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
And then, bye.
Did you know that All Stars 1, I was actually supposed to be on?
Oh, I believe it. 1,000% believe that.
So they had invited me to be on, and they really wanted me to be on it. And at the time, my work, my boy work or whatever, was getting so busy that I was opening stores in Los Angeles and around Southern California, and I was managing so many areas that my director at the time was like, you have to make a choice. If you leave for All Stars, you can't come back.
Right.
Or you could stay here and not go to All Stars. And I was like, and at the time, I became full-time drag queen in 2017 towards 18. And at the time, that was in like 2013 maybe, 14. I really liked my salary. I really liked my 401k. I really liked my benefits. I really liked my job. So it was really hard for me to say, I'm going to quit this job and do the other job. But as a consolation prize, they were like, do you want to drive a van?
Right.
And I was like, sure, I'll drive a van. I think I can take one day off instead of like the 30 days that they needed me to take off. But yeah, I was supposed to be on there. And rumor has it, I don't know the truth to this matter, but I've been told that rumor has it that because I said no, that's why Mimi got the spot.
Okay.
Rumor has it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could
be.
I don't know. Maybe somebody at Reddit will investigate.
Well, I feel like regardless of what we say or don't say, there's always people out there that are like, no, I actually know.
Yeah. No.
And
what?
I'm like, and I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right.
No. Okay. So I love like your social media and stuff because you just call them bitches out. Like you're just like, no, that's bullshit. Because you could be talking about your like a personal experience. You could be like, I'm Delta work and this is what happened to me. And somebody in the comments be like, no, it didn't. And you're like, what the fuck? It literally just happened to me. And you're like, how do you know it didn't happen to me? And you're just like you're so gracious about it, but you call them out and put them in their place and be like, shut the fuck up. Like
it's so weird.
It's so weird to have to do that.
Yeah. You know what's weird is when people will comment something negative and they'll like at you like in the comment.
Oh, to see, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, you at me, so like I always find it like maybe if I'm in an airport or something where I have like an empty time, I'm like, I now have time to respond to comments. So I'll respond to positive ones, negative ones. But those ones that are negative, you'll go to respond and they're like, that person cannot be mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
this is the game.
You
this
just
is the
come
game
by
you're
and
playing.
shit and then run away.
Yeah.
Gross.
Honestly, I met this like producer of reality TV recently. And I was talking to him about producing a show where you somehow try and find these people that like death threat you on social media
wow.
and show up at their house and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why do you want to kill me? And it's like, it's sort of like Catfish, you know, Catfish on MTV.
Yes, I love.
But the idea is like these people on social media that just hate you for zero reasons. I just want to show up at their house and be like, have a conversation, have some tea, some coffee, and be like, what's up?
Why did you say that?
Yeah, why
like,
do you hate me? Why do you
right.
hate her? Like, why do you hate him? It's like, but that's the world we live in, you know.
And it is always weird when you do say something back. They're like, "No, I actually love you.
Yeah.
I love you. I just wanted to get your attention." And I'm like, "You wanted to punch me in the arm?
Yeah, you're
just to
like,
get my attention?
you want to stick a fucking pen on my neck, but that's just calling me out for
love you?
attention? Yeah, like that's
Why?
weird love, you guys. Don't do that. That's weird love.
That is weird love.
Yeah.
So,
That's kinky love.
have you driven a van since then? Since we did van driving?
No, I
No?
haven't.
I always think when I'm on the freeway, I'm like, I would like to get one of those like Sprinter vans and have it to like put clothes, some wigs, and then just have the ability to change in it at the
Yeah.
gig. Because, you know, some gigs you go, there's nowhere to get ready.
Yeah. This
would be
actually might be a really good idea because sometimes I don't want to take anything out of my car and put it
Right.
in my house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want it to just stay in there. But obviously I love rotating. You know my system. Like I pack for the month.
Right.
I rotate that suitcase and then I go back, you know, put it in the storage and then come back with new ones every month. So that I'm sort of like rotating the looks.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, if I can have a Sprinter van and just have a rolling rack
It would
and then
be
show up
sickening.
in the gig and be like, okay, 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, shoes, you know what I mean? But
Well,
it would be hard for me to travel with my shoes because I have like a whole room of it.
Well, the thing about you and your shoes, because we know it's like an addiction and it's an obsession. It's obsession.
It's more of like
A hobby?
let's be honest, it's an addiction and an obsession.
But you work really hard and you really do love them and you take care of all of them.
I do take care of all
Mhm.
of them, and I also am very smart. I only buy them on sale
Mhm.
unless it's something that I know I will never be able to get again.
Right.
And it's funny because I will happily buy a $9 shoe at Santee Alley
Then I know
Are you
this is
kidding
true about
me?
you. I know it's true.
because it's so good.
Mhm.
If any queens or artists or kings and things and in-betweens ever come to LA to visit, do not miss the opportunity to go to Santee Alley. But also don't just wear it like right off the rack. Style it a little. But anyway, shoes. I will happily buy a $9 shoe and I will happily buy a $2,000 shoe.
Right.
And it is an obsession. It is an addiction. Willem came to my house about a month or so ago. She filmed my drag closet
Mhm.
and she was asking me how many pairs of shoes I had. And I said, like, I think I have about 200. She's like, absolutely impossible. Because she counted like how many shoes were on the shelves, how many shelves there were. And so I think we're going about like 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm also smart. I sell them
Mhm.
when I'm done with them because
Mhm.
some of them do retain value
Mhm.
and some of them have special, like, you know, some of them are special and some of them are not used.
Mhm.
And I'll go buy new ones.
Well, and the interesting thing about your proclivity for shoes is the fact that you like them in drag and out of drag.
I do,
You like-
yeah. So I have one side of the room. There's 5 shelves of girl
Mhm.
shoes, and then the other side is 4 shelves of boy.
Mhm.
And when I say boy, it's like, you know, in betweens. Like I like to wear little Johnny heels
Yeah.
as a boy as well. I don't even know like where in the spectrum I am in, you know, like, but I just love fashion so much.
Right.
And I think I worked in fashion for so long that I appreciate it a lot.
Mhm.
Lately, I've been very casual. I like a black t-shirt, a black pant, a black short, and some sneakers. But whenever I get the opportunity to like dress up as Ongina or as Ryan, like I want to be able to have the options and say, oh, you know what? I want to wear these shoes that I haven't worn in
Right.
3 years, you know? And it feels new and exciting to me. And why not? Treat yourself.
Well, we're in a beautiful time. I mean, there's a lot of scary shit going on in the world. But we are in a place where we can not stress out so much about having to explain why we can acknowledge duality.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. Like or if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
If people are like, I've realized this is who I am now, then make your announcement and I want to hold space for it and I want to love you for it.
Yeah.
But if there's people that are like, I don't even need to be there, or I don't know if I'm there.
Right.
I'm in a place where I want to do it all.
Yeah.
Then do it all.
Yeah. I was having this conversation about how the younger generation are so brave and so organic when it comes to like owning their gender and their sexuality and theirness, and I feel like sometimes, you know, I get inspired by these people and I like will go out and shop. I was like, oh, that maybe I'll wear a skirt as Ryan, maybe, and then I put it on and I feel like such a poser. I feel like I'm too old for this.
No, I feel
But
you.
then at the same time, it's like, but I feel fabulous in it. So I think for me, like, the shoes sort of like help whatever is like going on in my mind because I build my outfit from it.
Right.
And it just helps me express like how I want to express myself at the time being.
Right.
So I like that there's no boundaries. I like that there's no one's telling me like I can or cannot do this. It's really like me that have to like say, you know what? I look fabulous. I feel fabulous. I'm going to do it this way today. I'm going to do it this way tomorrow and just live my life free. Because I'm literally I know I look like I'm 22, but I'm about to be 42 years old, and you know, I'm ready to just be free and stress-free and live my life. And if anybody else has anything to say about that, you know what? Fuck you. It's not your life. It's mine.
How about that?
How about that?
How about that? Let's take a break. We are back with Ongina. This is the portion of the podcast called Read Me Delta, where people send in letters.
Oh, okay.
Read me Delta!
Sometimes they ask. What was the word you said earlier? I can't remember.
Devon? No, that's you. Grandiose. Grandiose.
There's never really a way to come back. I do that sometimes. Like I'll pronounce a word and I know the right way to pronounce it, but my mouth won't do it. And then you'll say it and you'll try to like, I try to just like run with it. Like that's
like
how
nobody
it goes.
heard.
Yeah.
Like nobody heard.
Right.
It's funny because, you know, now I host a lot now for shows. And I often sometimes, not often and sometimes, that can be the same thing, right? I often say like the wrong things and then I'll blame it for being Filipino. But the other day, like a few weeks ago, somebody was like, you moved here in 94. That excuse does not work anymore. And I was like, that is true, but
I don't think it's an excuse and I don't think it's a blame. I think it is a reason and an explanation because you are bilingual.
Yeah.
You have every right. Anybody to me that is bilingual is far smarter than anyone else because you're carrying two completely different languages. First of all, the English language itself is so fucking weird because of all. Why are there silent letters? Who is that helping? Why are silent letters helping anyone?
Oh, I wish I can explain the Filipino language because there's also like words. There could be one word that means like 5 things.
I like that.
And it's the way you pronounce it. I can even like think
Can you
of
go
what-
I know this.
But you know what I mean? Like
you could go bakla. Or you could go bakla.
Bakla.
That's not what you're talking about. But
you know,
but I know what you mean. No, that's not what you're talking about.
Or you could be like,
But-
in English terms, it'd be like work. Work?
Right.
Work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just the way that you pronounce it. Okay, so letters from the fans.
So if you want to send a letter in, you can send it to readmedelta@gmail.com. Questions about anything. Could be about hats, vintage hats. It could be about driving vans. It could be about why there is Torani syrup here, but it's not
I
sugar.
was gonna ask
But why is it not sugar-free?
Are these our sponsors? Because I love Voss water.
Well, I'll tell you why. I've come to the conclusion. My producer, Mark, puts the Voss water out. It is beautiful, but I also think maybe it's my plea to Voss Entertainment to put me to work. Please, I beg of you. Can't you do something?
Do you want to work the world?
I don't know if I can do the whole world, but I mean, there's got to be somebody out there. I've been telling people for a while now. I'm like, isn't there somebody that wants to go? I feel like everyone's sharing my fucking, like, they share the podcast. I want to come do the podcast with you.
Live somewhere. Yeah. I'm down. Let's get that Sprinter van and go.
I actually got to do a gig. I had so much fun. It was in Seattle.
That's right.
At the Queer Bar. And you messaged me. You messaged me and you said, Queer Bar will be reaching out to you. And I had a blast. If you ever are in Seattle and you get to go to the Queer Bar, so much fun. And it wasn't even very Delta Live, but I was there with the whole cast of entertainers. And we did this little thing called the Shit Talk series. And it was kind of like a mini Very Delta Live.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to Seattle and do that again. But it was a blast. So
the Queer Bar is my home in Seattle, and they really are amazing. And when I was there 2 weeks before you were coming, everyone was literally talking how excited they were that you were coming. And that's when I texted you and was like, everyone in Seattle is ready for you. So excited.
They came
so I'm
all
glad.
the way out. Jane Don't was there. She was the host. And she had her own little, like, it was kind of like her thing. And I was her guest, like talking. Oh my God. A blast.
I love it.
Are you originally from Seattle?
I am. I'm from Seattle. I grew up in a little city called Linwood. And I went to high school there. And right after high school, I moved to New York City.
What's the difference between the people in Seattle, the people in New York, the people in LA? What's the vibe difference?
Seattle is very chill. New York is very goal oriented, and Seattle is also very outdoorsy. And then LA is very like, I'm gonna be famous.
I mean, I think that kind of, it does hit the nail on the head.
It does. It's funny that I know you're about to read this, but it's funny because when I moved here in 2007, I jokingly said when I got to my apartment in Hollywood, I was like, Ongina's gonna be famous. And then 6 months later, I got booked for Drag Race.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It is wild.
Anyway, I regret it.
You don't regret shit. Dear Delta, I read in the newspaper that mom partnered with straights because that's business. My question, is it forever dog or forever dong? Do you like dongs? Love you, Andrew G. from New York City. My question, is it forever dog or forever dong? Well, I don't know why. I don't know. I try to stay out of men's business. I don't know why there was a mom as part of Forever Dog. It works.
It does work.
This space, there's like, I tell people, like, this building, there's so many different podcasts happening at any given time that one of our I'll say higher ups was walking down the hall and saw me just walking down in cargo shorts, a dress, a pumpkin on my head, and Brett just looks at me and goes, "Good morning." It just doesn't dawn on people because in any given time you could see Meatball eating hot wings with like a beautiful wig on and like, you know, lashes this big. Then you could see a band playing in here.
Yeah.
People are moving desks in and out. Like, I don't know, but it just seems to work. Like mom and Forever Dog, it works.
Listen, sometimes a partnership with the straights is okay.
You know, we're talking about dads, like new dads.
Daddies?
Yeah, like new dads with wives who come here and like, and we're lucky. You know what I mean? We're really lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know about their dongs, but I'm curious.
Yeah, maybe it's a forever secret.
Yeah, I am curious about dongs and dad dongs, you know, and we could find out more about that. But you know what, Andrew G. from NYC, I don't know if you're a native New Yorker, but I bet you know about, are dongs different in New York than they are in LA?
I think dongs is pretty much similar to every city.
But they're very natural in Seattle.
But they're...
You're very natural, I think.
And the ones in LA just want to be famous.
They just want to be famous. They're going to lie about it on Instagram.
They are.
Okay, the next letter. By the way, when I was in Seattle, I was like, I feel obligated to wear a North Face jacket.
No,
Like,
did you? Did you buy one?
I had at home. One time when I was at the airport. You know, I'm one of those people at the airport where I have no budget.
Oh my God, yeah.
Whatever's in the airport, if it's for sale, I'm buying it.
Okay, speaking of which, how many neck pillows do you have?
Too many. Well, I have ones that have dancing avocados on them. I have ones that are plaid.
I say this because every time I'm at the airport, I'm at the airport a lot. You know, I love to travel, work or pleasure. Like 80% of the time, I will forget my neck pillow.
Yeah.
So I was cleaning my room the other day,
no.
and I have 11.
Stop it.
Who needs 11 neck pillows?
Stop it.
11.
You should have a sale.
I should have a sale.
You should have a sale.
It's got Ongina. It's got Ongina sweat on it.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot of money.
What do you think the most is that you've paid for a neck pillow?
Oh, they're like $30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever.
Are they all from the airport, or are you ever stuck at like
no,
TJ
it's
Maxx?
all at the airport.
All at the airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a snack that you like to get at the airport at the Hudson News?
Doritos, nacho cheese, and a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
We share that love.
Yeah,
Diet
we do.
Coke. Yeah.
I like that. Next letter. Dear Delta and sensual guest.
Sensual.
Have you ever hooked up with a crazy gym and juice muscle guy and thought to yourself, this body is fucking weird and looks better than it feels? Like it's giving Naugahyde couch and you sort of want to poke it with a finger, but not look up at but not hook up with it. Just super overdone, like a vacuum sealed bag of clothes. I don't know. Very Lanny. Have you ever hooked up with somebody that
Lanny.
you thought the body looked good, but you were like, ew.
So before I was married, I was a hoe.
Mm-hmm. Once upon a time, not long ago,
I was a hoe. And I was okay. So and like I said, my adulthood all happened in New York City, and it was full of parties, and it was full of many different people. And I do remember.
I'm listening.
Sometimes I can be TMI, but I don't want the producer to say, just get right into it.
No.
And then you'd have to tell them you're not the editor. But okay, so.
You can say whatever you want. This is your space.
Okay, there was this man that I used to hook up with back in like 2005.
Okay.
And he was like a firefighter.
Uh-huh.
And he was built like a Roman like god.
Uh-huh.
But he was the Nelliest bottom.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. And did you call him Bambi or like
No, but he definitely liked like being the submissive person.
Sure.
And I sometimes like to feel out my top fantasy.
Yeah.
And during that time when when I was younger, I was single, I was living in New York City, like I was very free of my sexuality. I'll just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him being like, literally every inch of him was like so perfect, I guess.
Yeah.
And like so manufactured that it almost seemed like it wasn't like correct that I was the one who was like being dominant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
This is a weird theme that's running through, but it makes sense. Again, those optics. When people look at a certain thing, they think, oh, this is what a bottom looks like. This is what a top looks like. This is who you're supposed to be with. And that's so interesting. Even this isn't the same thing, but I'm sure you've seen it. Partners that look exactly like one another.
Oh, when there's like a TikTok where it says brothers or partners or something like
twin
that.
Boyfriend. I just spit on you. I just spit on you.
God damn it.
You're blessed.
Twins or partners or brothers or siblings or whatever. Yeah, I've seen those, and they even have ones like where it's like a hetero relationship when it's like a girl and a boy, and they literally like sometimes you can't tell. They're like, I think they're brothers and sisters, and then they start making out, and they're like, oh my God, they're fucking.
Right, and they are brother and sister.
Yeah, and they're
ew. Gross.
But have you like before you were like.
Before I was an old married woman?
Yes.
We are old married women.
We are old married women.
Right. I think I have been with many body types. Definitely. There was a time like when we were all Peanuts girls, like, working at 7969, and we would all feel the fantasy of like showing up in drag and leaving in drag and going to the restaurant in drag. And the chasers, we don't say that word anymore, but at the time that we would say tranny chaser, they would come to the bar and they had their pickings, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there
they
was
do.
what does Little Kim say? Chicks by the layers, all different flavors. And it always would surprise people because they would go, oh, this hot guy over here, and they're like, he's going with her?
Yeah,
Why her?
yeah.
And you're like, well, because they have a certain at that time a certain type of femininity that they liked, right?
Yes.
And so they might say like, oh no, I like an athletic girl.
Yes.
Or, ooh, I like a big fluffy girl.
Yes.
Or
And I think for them too, obviously this is like a fantasy. So it's a fantasy being fulfilled. And so if they've already been fulfilled by a bald Asian, then they're gonna want a headpiece lady.
They want pumpkin lady.
Yeah, they want pumpkin lady next. You know what I mean? So it's like checking the boxes of like, okay,
But
I had
it's
pumpkin
true.
lady, I had bald Asian, and then now maybe I'm gonna, maybe I'll get another. But at the time before everything is called out on social media, at the time these were like taboo moments.
Right.
But they were like, but you can make them. They're taboo, but you can make them still fun and special.
Right.
Right. And now it's like danger, and it's like, yeah, that's true. There's probably danger that surrounded like even like the experiences from years ago. But at the same time, like it's different time, and you're feeling out your fantasies and stuff, which I think people seem to forget that like it's okay to be, adventurous.
Yeah.
Wanderlust.
Yeah. Wanderlust.
I'm learning so much English words today.
Stop it. Thank you for being here.
Oh my
This
God.
blew by. I say that every interview
Wait,
I do.
is it over?
This is it, girl.
Girl, part
Girl.
2.
This is it. This is where we are.
Part 2.
Where are you on social media? Like, where can people find you?
So you can find me on all of my social media under Ongina. My Venmo is also Ongina. And my Cash App is also Ongina.
Venmo.
But yeah, it's all Ongina. Instagram is probably the one that I use the most.
Same.
And yeah, you'll find all of my adventures there, including I've been producing some things, and I have a monthly I have a monthly dance party at the Virgil. It's called Persuasion. And it's a cool place for queer Asians and our friends, allies, and families and partners and lovers. So that's once a month at the last Friday of every month. But I also have a new one at the chapel.
Okay.
And that's top 40s, get your dance on, get your groove on. And it's also a win for queer Asians. And it's called Boba. A new dance party with a taste of Asian excellence. Because everybody loves boba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's every Thursday starting in December.
And do you use, like, can I go there and have this, like a straw like this?
Yes. I don't know if actually this is big enough for boba, but maybe like mini bobas.
Do you pretend to smoke with a straw like this?
You know what? Back in the day, yes, but I'm not that...
Not anymore.
Duvoon.
It's not
Duvoon.
Thank you all for listening. I'm watching Very Delta. We come out every Monday. Please subscribe to Mom Podcast right here on the Mom Podcast YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. And search for Very Delta on your favorite podcast apps and subscribe to Mom Plus for even more Very Delta. You can send all your questions to readmedelta@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Instagram @DeltaWork. You can also follow the show on Instagram and TikTok @VeryDelta, because if you're not, you're only getting half the Delta. Join me next week right here, and until then, make sure you keep things very Delta.
This episode of Very Delta was brought to you by Orange Diamond, the official emoji of the Very Delta show. Theme from Delta Works. Very Delta by the Whippets Orchestra.
Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work and produced by Mark Jacobs. Engineered by Margot Padilla and editing by Doug Robertson. Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Big Dipper, and Joe Cilio.